So the Coastguard is facing a manslaughter lawsuit for allegedly failing to help the 27 people who died in the Channel when their dinghy sank. Specifically, actually, a lawsuit against Claire Hughes, who's director of Her Majesty's Coastguards. This is absolute madness. The allegation is that they didn't respond to emergency calls made by people on that boat and that they are now responsible for their deaths. I've been deeply critical of our Coastguard, the RNLI and indeed Border Force for, in my view, aiding and abetting illegal immigration. However, when a French charity called Utopia 56 pipes up and tries to prosecute members of our Coastguard for manslaughter, I have to put my foot down. Let's have it right. The only reason that these people get into flimsy little boats and set sail for the UK is because they know that the Coastguard will come and pick them up when they deliberately turn their motors off and call for help. And on this particular day that 27 people sadly died, I think it's fair to say the only reason they didn't receive help from the Coastguard is because they were already busy dealing with other boats. In fact, a statement from our Coastguard reads, "On the 24th of November, Her Majesty's Coastguard received over 90 alerts from the English Channel area, including 999 emergency calls. Every call was answered, assessed and acted upon, including the deployment of search and rescue resources where appropriate. We always have and always will respond to anyone in distress, as we did that day." And then, of course, there's a small matter of the fact that this boat appears to have been in French waters anyway. What this lawsuit is nothing more than a cynical attempt by a migrant charity to try to ensure that this country's Coastguard, Border Force and emergency services devote their entire energy towards ensuring that every single boat that leaves Calais is picked up and brought to the UK, so that the people on that boat can spend the rest of their lives here, in my opinion. Anyway, I think that, frankly, it's an attempt to make illegal immigration easier. If anything, I believe this charity may well be exploiting the deaths of 27 people, some of them women, some very young children, to further its own aims. And it completely ignores the main issue. The utter lunacy of trying to claim that our Coastguard is responsible for the deaths of people in the Channel actually makes me quite angry. If they want to bring a lawsuit against people, why don't they bring a lawsuit against the people smugglers who are becoming millionaires off the back of facilitating people making a dangerous journey across one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world? Why don't they sue the manufacturers of the boat that sank? It was clearly faulty goods, wasn't it? Why don't they go after French police on the beaches who've been pictured waving these people through as they set sail? I'm very concerned about what happens now as a result of this lawsuit. Hopefully it's just thrown out and we never hear of it again. But if it isn't, what this could do is create a situation where our Coastguard is now so petrified of any one of these migrant boats sinking and any one of these people dying that it devotes its entire energy towards that. That means that when someone gets into difficulty off the coast of Kent and they call the Coastguard gets a call at the same time from a bunch of people in a dinghy, they will always go to those people in a dinghy. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't, I'm just saying that it would absolutely set their priorities, wouldn't it? I'm also very worried that the deaths of these migrants are going to be pinned on some poor bloke that we've never heard of who happened to be manning the phones on that day at the specific time this boat sank. That's normally how these things work, isn't it? I can see it now. Lawsuit gets filed, the Coastguard launches an internal investigation. They find an individual who they can pin it on, and it becomes a criminal lawsuit against a single person, as opposed to, of course, the lawsuit against the Coastguard as a whole, or indeed its top brass. Mark my words, if this looks like it'll go to court, I think that's what will happen. You can take that to the bank. And that's wrong. You cannot simultaneously have a situation whereby the Coastguard is criticised for essentially being an Uber service for illegal immigrants, and at the same time be held negligent and responsible for their deaths when a dinghy sinks and people sadly die. Perhaps, instead of taking our Coastguard to court and trying to turn some people into pseudo-murderers, this charity could devote its time, energy and resources into telling these people in Calais not to get into a shoddy boat and sail out into one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world in the middle of winter.